Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayat Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtike. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 1, verse 45. Tasya prapana khilalokapanam avashtitanam manusasane sve arthaya jatasya yadhus ajasya vartham sakhe kirtaye tirtha kirte. Tasya, his, prapanna, surrendered, akhila lokapanam, all rulers of the entire universe, avashtitanam, situated in, anusasane, under the control of, sway, own self, arthaya, for the interest of, jatasya, of the born, yadusu, in the family of the yadhus, ajasya, of the unborn, vartam, topics, sakhe, O my friend, kirtaye, please narrate, tirtha kirte, of the Lord, whose glories are chanted in the places of pilgrimage. Translation. O my friend, please, therefore, chant the glories of the Lord, who is meant to be glorified in the places of pilgrimage. He is unborn, and yet he appears by his causeless mercy upon the surrendered rulers of all parts of the universe. Only for their interest did he appear in the family of his unalloyed devotees, the Yadhus. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. There are innumerable rulers all over the universe in different varieties of planets. The sun god in the sun planet, the moon god in the moon planet, Indra in the heavenly planet, Vayu, Varuna, and those in the Brahmaloka planet, where Lord Brahma is living. All are obedient servants of the Lord. Whenever there is any trouble in the administration of the innumerable planets in different universes, the rulers pray for an appearance, and the Lord appears. The Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse 28, has already confirmed this in the following verse. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. In every millennium, whenever there is any trouble for the obedient rulers, the Lord appears. He also appears for the sake of his pure unalloyed devotees. The surrendered rulers and the pure devotees are always strictly under the control of the Lord, and they are never disobedient to the desires of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is always attentive to them. The purpose of pilgrimage is to remember the Lord constantly, and therefore the Lord is known as Tirtha Kirti. The purpose of going to a place of pilgrimage is to get the chance to glorify the Lord. Even today, although times have changed, there are still pilgrimage sites in India. For example, in Mathura and Vrindavana, where we had a chance to stay, people are awake from early in the morning at 4 a.m. up until nighttime and are constantly engaged, some way or other, in chanting the holy glories of the Lord. The beauty of such a pilgrimage site is that automatically one remembers the holy glories of the Lord. His name, fame, quality, form, pastimes, and entourage are all identical to the Lord. And therefore, chanting the glories of the Lord invokes the personal presence of the Lord. Anytime or anywhere, pure devotees meet and chant the glories of the Lord is present without any doubt. It is said by the Lord himself that he always stays where his pure devotees chant his glories. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta on the purports of the third canto, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Questions by Vidura. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today, and also for this opportunity to discuss with all of you this beautiful, beautiful verse. It was really beautiful to hear everyone chanting. It's so beautiful to hear everyone chanting every morning. This verse is all about chanting the glories, all about kirtanam, and our temple is doing such a wonderful job of giving a space to all devotees to come together, even during this time, to chant together. So that's so beautiful. And it's so enlivening to be in all of your presence. So if I make any mistakes, please forgive me. I'm still in the process of maturing. So I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that today is Friday, it's the end of the week. It is also the end of Adhik Mas. Today is the last day of Adhik Mas. And today we are discussing the last verse of the third canto, first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, how beautiful Krishna's design is, that this worked out so perfectly that at the end of Adhik Mas, we are at the end of Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 1. So in this verse, Vidura is requesting Uddhava to chant the glories of the Lord. And what first caught my attention in this verse is the phrase, "Oh my friend." If we remember, previously it was noted, and it was described, how Vidura is much older to Uddhava. He is like an uncle to Uddhava almost. Vidura was the uncle to Arjuna, and Arjuna was about the same age as Krishna. And so, in that respect, Vidura is much, much older than Uddhava. So, why is he referring to Uddhava, "Oh my friend"? Sakhe, he says, "Oh my friend, oh Sakhe, please narrate the topics of the Lord whose glories are chanted in the places of pilgrimage." So, we understand that in the material sense, if an uncle would say to his niece or nephew, "Oh my friend," "Oh, hey my friend," it would be a little awkward. But because Vidura and Uddhava are both on the transcendental platform, both are on the Krishna conscious platform, no longer do the age differences matter. No longer do the barriers of age or one being from a Kshatriya family matter. None of this matters anymore because they are on the spiritual transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness. And I find that so beautiful because in Krishna consciousness, there is no basis of barrier based on the demarcated distinctions of our body. Anyone can love Krishna, and in Krishna consciousness, it's a family affair. Amarendra Prabhuji, once in a lecture, he explained how going back to Godhead is a family affair. Sometimes I'll pick you up, sometimes you'll pick me up. And so in that way, in that aspect, we are all a big family in Krishna consciousness. And we find very little of that in the material world today. We see in the case of the South Indian illiterate Brahmana, no, illiteracy has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya embraced an illiterate Brahmana simply for reading the Bhagavad Gita with so much love. There is no gender inequality. The Brahmana's wives in Krishna Leela attained higher perfection than the Jnani Brahmanas themselves because of their pure love for Krishna. And then there's no caste difference. Our Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Haridas Thakur. So there's no caste difference also in Krishna consciousness. So in that respect, spirituality is so beautiful that it gives us an opportunity to move away from the demarcated distinctions of our body and to come together and just love Krishna, love God. And I also find that in all of your association, I'm still so spiritually immature, and I'm still a kid to all of you, yet still we are together, and we're chanting Krishna's glories, because that is the nature of Krishna conscious society, that we all are together in this. So, here in this verse, Vidura has gone to all the holy places. He has, up until this verse, he has gone to all the holy places. And now he comes back, and he's speaking to Uddhava. And Uddhava has personal contact with Krishna. But Vidura has gone to every single holy place. He has done all that is necessary to become a fully purified soul. What necessity is there to do some kirtanam? What is the necessity to glorify the Lord? What is the necessity of doing this kirtan after doing so much tapasya by going through all the holy places of pilgrimage? So Vidura Mahajan is delineating for us the power of kirtan, the power of kirtan in, as Prabhupada says, invoking the personal presence of the Lord. We see in the example of Advaita Acharya, who is none other than Lord Shiva, Lord Sadashiva himself. And just at his call, just at the pure devotee's call, Kirtanam, at the glories of his Shalagram Shila, Lord Krishna, Nikunja Rasa Vilasi, the one who always and eternally enjoys the mellows of transcendental conjugal love, he comes down, he descends to this material world as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give everyone pure love of God, to deliver all people regardless of caste, creed, or difference. So that is the beauty of our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the beauty of Advaita Acharya in invoking the presence of God through kirtan. We see this in the example of the demigods. Specifically in this verse, when Prabhupada explains, he uses the example of the surrendered rulers of the universe. The surrendered rulers of the universe, they are so attentive to Krishna that Krishna is always attentive to them. Simply at their prayer, Lord Vishnu descended from his resting position as Lord Krishna, as Swayam Bhagavan himself, to reciprocate to his unalloyed devotees, the demigods, and all the other creatures. So this is something very important also for me to understand, because sometimes in an immature way I'll think, Krishna is not reciprocating to me. I'm chanting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but Krishna is not reciprocating to me. But actually, it's that Krishna is always there with us. He's always attentive to us. Krishna is not the type of God that demands our love, demands his glorification, demands sacrifice. He's not that type of God. Krishna, as we see in the material world, he is serving the atheists, he is serving the theists, he is serving every single living entity, regardless if they do any service to him. So that is the beauty of Lord Krishna. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Let all living entities be at peace. Let all living entities be free from disease. Let all living entities be happy. Even if they don't serve me, even if they don't serve me, I will serve them. So Krishna is always there for me. Krishna is always there for each and every one of us. It is just that we are not with Krishna. It's like being in a, what you would say, one-way relationship, where you're only giving to the other person and you're not getting anything back. So it's actually flipped, that Krishna is giving so much attention to us through all of the facilities we see in our lives, but we are not reciprocating in that way by being present with Krishna. So I really take shelter of this Ete Chamsa Kala Pumsa verse, and Prabhupada so perfectly places it in this verse to give context to this verse, because it shows us that Krishna will come to us, Krishna will reciprocate to us, and there is no doubt about it. He says very definitively, the surrendered rulers and the pure devotees are strictly under the control of the Lord. So, as devotees, therefore, we have nothing to fear. And I find so much peace and shelter in this verse, because it shows us that if we are just loving Krishna, Krishna will take care of us. There's nothing to fear, nothing to fear, nothing to fear. So here we are seeing the power of kirtan in invoking the presence of God. So I wanted to dive deeper into the subject matter of kirtanam, because here we're saying even Vidura Mahajan, after going to so many places of pilgrimage, all of that, his question, answers with Vidura about all of these people, all of it is culminating in this one question. Please, my dear Uddhava, chant the glories of the Lord. And so I want to discuss a little bit about that. So I have a question for all of you. In his Magnus opus, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami lists out the role models for each of the 9 processes of devotional service. And he gives this spot to a specific person in his verse, to Kirtanam. Does anyone know who Rupa Goswami places as the exemplar of Kirtanam in this verse? You can unmute yourself or you can type in the chat, whatever is comfortable. Hare Krishna. Gopikanta Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for answering. Yes, it is Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami is the exemplar of Kirtan for all of us. But when we think about it in the traditional sense, why is Sukadev Goswami given this place as the exemplar of Kirtan? When we normally think of Kirtan, when I normally think of Kirtan, I think of musical instruments, high musical talent, beautiful voice, amazing tal, amazing rhythm, everything is pakka, high, all kinds of talent come in so many different varieties. But Sukadev Goswami doesn't appear to use any musical instruments, any beautiful voice, any sort of external features to make his kirtan better, or any music. Srimad Bhagavatam can be put to music, but it was not naturally meant for that. So why is Sukadev Goswami given this place? So in his verse, Rupa Goswami explains, Vaya Sakhi Kirtayan. The son of Vyasadeva, he attained all perfection simply by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, simply by doing kirtanam. And we learned that kirtanam is very expansive. And there are 3 main forms of kirtan that I've heard from Sri Prahlad Prabhu's lecture. There is Nama Kirtan, which we regularly do. It is the Yuga Dharma, Harinama Sankirtana, where we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, as we all did so beautifully for the past hour. We engaged in Nama Kirtan that way, invoking the presence of the Lord by his name. So that is one type of kirtan. Then there is Guna Kirtan. There is the glorification of the beautiful qualities of the Lord. Like the Brahma Samhita, for example. Premanjana Jurita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajami. The Brahma Samhita is an example of Guna Kirtan. Lord Brahma is explaining how only with the ointment of pure tears of love can we see the Lord within the heart. And with this vision, the highly elevated yogis, they are constantly in remembrance of the beautiful beautiful qualities of Lord Krishna. Then finally, there is Leela Kirtan. There is the Kirtan of the sweet, sweet, melodious pastimes of the Lord. And we see Srimad Bhagavatam falls into mainly that category of Leela Kirtan, the pastimes of the Lord, as well as the pastimes of the devotees of the Lord, as the devotees of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So we see Leela Kirtan in that way, being the sweet pastimes of the Lord and being encapsulated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we will see in the next chapter, just a sneak peek, it's entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna. So we will be discussing all of these beautiful, beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna in each and every verse. So yes, next month is going to be a nectar-filled month filled with all kinds of amazing pastimes. And so I want to discuss some other examples of Kirtanam. Another example of Kirtanam is our Lord Hanuman. Lord Hanuman is so powerful. He was able to burn all of Lanka into ashes simply with his tail. He was able to cross the ocean simply with his own superpowers. That Hanuman was so devoted to Lord Ram. He did everything for Lord Ram. So it was surprising when Lord Ram, he was leaving the material world, and he was telling Hanuman, okay, our time has ended for our pastimes. Let's disappear and go back to Ram Rajya up in the spiritual kingdom. But Hanuman, he stopped Lord Ram. Lord Ram, I don't want to go. Lord Ram, I want to be with your Naam. I find Naam Prabhu so beautiful and so magnificent. Let me be wherever your Ram Naam, wherever your Kirtan is going on, I would like to be there. So it has been told that Lord Hanuman is actually present wherever Ram Naam, or the glorification of Lord Ram, who is none other than Krishna, is going on. So we can think that Hanuman is also with us right now. Hanuman is listening in another Zoom box in the corner of another invisible dimension. He is listening. He is participating. He is attending this class with all of us. He is hearing, like all of you, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is none other than his beloved Lord Ram. And I wanted to give another example of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he was once invited, his disciples had once arranged a big pandal, a big event for Prabhupada to give a talk at. But no one came. They had done all kinds of flyers, all kinds of arrangements, all kinds of decorations, all kinds of marketing, but no one came to the pandal event. So Srila Prabhupada, he still gave the class. He stood and he sat down on the Vyasasan and he gave a class to just a few devotees present and the four walls basically. And so the disciples said, Prabhupada, we're so sorry. We didn't expect that no one would come. We did so much marketing. Prabhupada said, actually, I gave class and I could see all the demigods present. Brahma, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, all of the heavenly people of the Brahma Loka planet. Everyone was present and hearing Krishna Katha with me. So here we have the first-hand experience that the surrendered rulers, as we were talking about, all the pure devotees assemble where Krishna Katha is taking place. So I would like to share that with all of you, because we might think that I'm alone in this room, I'm alone with my computer, and I'm just talking to a screen. We are alone in our rooms with a phone, and we are hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's it. But actually, really take a look around. There is Brahma, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, all the demigods are assembled in each of our rooms simply to hear this beautiful message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I wanted to bring that all to your attention. Finally, I wanted to talk about Ajamila and the power of Kirtanam in transcending all types of sin. Ajamila, being a fallen Brahmana, had engaged in so many sinful activities throughout his life. Yet, simply by uttering the holy name of Narayan, once at his death, unknowingly thinking that it was his son's name, he got a second chance to go back to Vaikuntha. So we see the power of the holy name in delivering all fallen souls. Our sins are like an ocean, but Krishna, being so kind, his holy name has so much power. Nam nama koti bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrapita niyamita smaranena kala durdaiva sadrisham. So much power is invested in the nama, in the holy name of the Lord, that we can all be delivered from the ocean of sins simply by uttering it. So we see the power of Krishna's Kripa Shakti invested in the power of his holy name. So I want to go back finally to that point I was making of Kirtan invoking the presence of the Lord. This means that as we speak, Krishna is hearing with us. Krishna is hearing this message of Kirtanam. Krishna is present. Of course, I cannot claim, as the verse states, that I'm a pure devotee. But we understand from reading more Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Krishna enters the heart simply of a person who is trying to clean their heart. Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha. All of the impurities of the heart are cleaned by who? Krishna himself, when he comes into the heart of a person simply trying to hear the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I want to bring that all to your attention, that Krishna is in another Zoom box in some other dimension, and he is listening to our talk. He is attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class with all of you. And so Krishna is reciprocating, but unfortunately, I do not have the spiritual eyes to see him. So now I would like to talk a little bit about holy dhammas, because Vidura shows us the power of kirtan in invoking the personal presence of the Lord. And the personal presence of the Lord is accompanied with the dhamma. And it's kind of interesting. Vidura has gone to all the holy places of pilgrimage, yet he is deciding to do kirtan. He is deciding to glorify the Lord, even though he has gone to all the places of pilgrimage, because kirtan invokes the holy dham. Kirtan invokes the holy dham. Unfortunately, as Prabhupada was mentioning, times have changed. Right now, we are all in quarantine. We cannot go to India. We cannot go to Vrindavan. We cannot go to all of these holy places. But we can invoke the presence of those holy places simply by glorifying the Lord. And we find that unless we invoke the personal presence of the Lord in our hearts, unless we make our mind, body, speech, our entire vehicles a holy dham for the Lord, unless we ourselves exemplify, role model a dham, then there is no purpose to going to a dham. When we go to a dham and our minds and body and speech are filled with Krishna, then we will see Krishna everywhere. Satyananda Swami Maharaj, in a beautiful talk, he was explaining how for thieves, Vrindavan is a place of thieves. For a materialistic man who want to make money, Vrindavan is the place to make money. So he was making this point. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So if we are Krishna conscious, if I am Krishna conscious, and I'm constantly thinking of Krishna, I'm absorbed in thought of Krishna, I will see Krishna everywhere. I will see Krishna in Vrindavan. And I've had this experience many times of going to the holy places of Vrindavan, holy places of Puri, and not being able to truly enter the Dham. Because my mind and body and speech were not fully fixed in glorifying the Lord, in being a Dham for Krishna, I could not access the Dham. When we go to Puri or Vrindavan, we will see the open sewage, we will see the dogs, we will see the stray monkeys, we will see the dirt and all of the grime, because that is what is in my heart. That is what is in my heart that I am seeing all around. But instead, if I absorb myself in thoughts of Krishna, then I will be able to access the adrishya, the unseen part of Vrindavan, the unseen part of Puri. So here Vidura is so beautifully exemplifying for all of us the power of kirtan in invoking the presence of the Lord. So it's often said that pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, they themselves are holy dhams. They are our walking, talking places of pilgrimage. So it's so important that I understand this and that we all understand this, because unless we invoke the presence of Krishna in our hearts, no matter what pilgrimage we go to, no matter what Hajj, no matter what Dham Yatra we go through, it will still be empty and unfulfilling experience for us, because we ourselves are not that Dham. So I would like to end right now with a beautiful quote from the Padyavali, verse 16. As the rising sun immediately dissipates all the world's darkness, which is deep like an ocean, so the holy name of the Lord, if chanted once without offense, dissipates all the reactions of a living being's sinful life. All glories to that holy name of the Lord, which is auspicious for the entire world. So with that, I would like to end with a prayer that we all can take Lord Krishna's beautiful holy name, the beautiful gift of the holy name, with grace and not for granted, because it's so easy to take the holy name and the gift of the holy name for granted without realizing the amazing gift it is for all of us. Thank you so much for joining and hearing my words. I'm so sorry I went a little over time. I thought I would get a reminder, but thank you so much for joining. I would love to hear if anyone had any reflections. I am probably missing a lot of things, but I hope this was somewhat enriching for all of you. Hare Krishna.